Can we talk about the Pacers?
I'd love to.
All right, well then let's move on. You want to talk about the Mavericks? So the Pacers might have the best NBA offense of all time, and I just watch, and I don't even think they're not first in efficiency. No, the Sixers have the best offense in the league right now. How about that?
Do you have a Sixers thing? I don't have I'm almost out of topics, but every team we talk about, I want to talk about. Let's leave the Pacers. The Sixers look friggin' awesome. I'm a massive addition by subtraction team.
So the Pacers they are all over the place on offense. It's frenetic. They're third in average possession time, second in points per possession. They're eighth in half court offensive rating, which is a big deal because they were pretty bad there last year. Jalen Smith has been like a delight from three, and he's grabbing every offensive rebound that's out there. Aaron Nesmith might be on one of the league's best contracts. All of a sudden, he has some ball skills. He's shooting well. We know he can defend up. Buddy Hield has looked good. This is all happening where Bennedict Mathurin has not had the greatest start to the season, but in quotations in my notes I have, does it even fucking matter because of how good this team is on the offensive end? The answer is, you answered it, Grant. No, it does not. I mean, long term, it certainly matters. Myles Turner, career year from three right now, career year on the defensive glass. The team is still getting slaughtered when Haliburton doesn't play, but the offense during those stretches is above average. I think even now as I speak at 1 a.m. exactly my time, Obi Toppin is still running around somewhere on the court. There's not a game happening, but I think he's still running around somewhere. The thing I wanted to highlight, aside from the fact that Tyrese Haliburton is still that guy, I know he's been cooked and targeted on defense. Tyrese Haliburton is currently averaging 1.58 points per ISO possession. He's not using a ton per game, but he's shooting 67% in isolation, effective field goal rating of 83.3. De'Aaron Fox is the only player averaging more points per isolation possession than Tyrese Haliburton right now. And Fox, by the way, he's on track to have a year. I hope that ankle injury doesn't mess with him.
Those guys should play together. They could get a lot done together. Those two guys.
That didn't compute when I was even looking at that. I wanted to focus a little bit though, and of course get any thoughts that you'll have on the Pacers on the Bruce Brown fit. I've enjoyed it for the most part. He's shooting 47% on threes, 31% from above the break, 64% from the corners. I can't remember which game I was watching, but the Pacers had basically, it was him and Turner plus the bench. Aaron Nesmith was out there with Nembhard and Brown, Turner, and Hield. And that lineup just looked like it was going to annihilate opponents until the end of time. And so I'd like to see more of that. The Pacers' offensive rebounding rate right now is improving by 9.3 points with him on the court. He is not grabbing them, but when you kind of look, he's lifting from the corner, and it's making it easier on the Pacers, like a Jalen Smith, spot minutes with Isaiah Jackson or whoever, making it easier for them to crash the offensive glass. He's hitting over 60% of his running jumpers. The Pacer spacing looks great on him. Surprise, surprise. I think he has even more space to work with generally in the lane than he did when he was on the Nuggets. He's not doing as much as a passer, but the center floor playmaking is still very much there and remains special. And the thing that I feel like I've noticed, and maybe this is just has a case of, they played Charlotte. They're overreacting to him on the 3-point line. They are treating him like an actual threat, and that has helped open the driving lane. He's shooting 56.3% on drives, which is how he's going to make a lot of his passes. And so I'll wrap up on the Bruce Brown fit with this. 71 players have finished as many drives as Bruce Brown. Only 3 others are shooting 55+% with an assist rate north of 10 and a turnover rate south of 5. Tyrese Haliburton, Kyrie Irving, and Terry Rozier. I love the Bruce Brown fit. He has not had this great impact on their defense. He's been overmatched in a lot of the matchups he has, and the defense has been worse with him on the court, but I think that just says the quality of the players that he's going up against and that starting lineup has to face, or their most important players have to face a lot of the time. The Pacers, true to what everyone, I think, all geeks thought heading into the season, they have been one of the most entertaining watches of the season.
Yeah, that was a given. I want to ask you, because in the lead up to this season, and I think probably when we talked to Caitlin Cooper about this, there was this idea
that Caitlin Cooper had something written. One, either counter proving anything I just said, where it's like, actually, Bruce Brown's not lifting from the corner and he doesn't help their offensive rebounders at all. There's probably a good chance that she's either said everything I did, which fine.
Or you're wrong and she'll tell you why.
I've read so much of her. She's been publishing a lot lately, so I haven't read it all, but I've read a lot of her stuff and I'm trying not to like latch on to anything she says because it's just, you don't want to co-opt, but she's so smart and great at what she does. It's hard not to.
Well, one of the things she said that I really bumped on, and this isn't like an opinion of hers, it's basically a correct assessment of what the Pacers think, is that Mathurin is going to start, Hield is not, and that's because they need to figure out what they have. Like, you know, it made a lot of sense. Like, and I bumped on it because Mathurin seemed to me like his ceiling is as a really good 6-man, like pure scorer that's not good at a lot of the other stuff you need to round out like a really good starting lineup on the wing or as a second guard. And to your point, and how Brown has fit well, the lineups that have Brown and Hield as the wings, whether you have Nesmith as the 4 or Toppin at the 4, some of these are hilariously effective lineups. But if you have Hield and Brown on the floor together, the Pacers are plus 17.8 and the offense is scoring like 140 points per 100 possessions, which actually might be below the Pacers' full season figure, but no, it's not. But like, which is absurd. My favorite is it's only 15 possessions, but I'm going to cite it because it just illustrates.
That's a huge sample size. That's more than 14
15 possessions. That's like an entire quarter almost. It's like half of a quarter.
Yeah. I was like, what team is using 60 possessions for 48 minutes?
The Rick Carlisle Dallas Mavericks from 3 years ago. Haliburton, Hield, Brown, Toppin, Turner, right? Which I think should be the starting 5. Plus 80 net rating. That's fun. That's fun in 15 possessions. But it's just like, the question buried in all this is, is it too obvious that Mathurin should just never start and that we should just be playing Hield and Brown and on the wings and probably Toppin at the 4? I like Toppin more than Nesmith. And then obviously Turner and Haliburton as your bookends. Like, has anything changed about, because I thought from the jump, like, Mathurin should not start, not over Brown, not over Hield. I mean, give me Nembhard or whatever over Mathurin at this point. Just turn Mathurin loose off the bench and say shoot all the time against backups. I don't know where you were on any of that, or if you remember Caitlin saying that Mathurin was probably going to be the Pacers pick to start and play a ton. Have you? What are your thoughts generally on that? I guess like you're loving Bruce Brown, so that's easy. But what about the Hield piece?
Doesn't it? It comes down to what are your aims? Do you care? If you care more about the bigger picture, it's valuable gleaning as much information, good or bad, from Mathurin as possible. And I don't think you're putting him. Are you putting him in a better situation to succeed himself or for you long term by bringing him off the bench? I don't know. The quality of the defensive competition should go down, but then you're also, he's insulated right now a lot of the time because you're going to play more minutes than alongside Tyrese Haliburton. Along with sure, Jalen Smith is hitting his threes now, but like you're guaranteed to play alongside the spacing of a Myles Turner. So if you're trying to win games, the answer is Mathurin should not be starting now.
So I think by the way, was I a year or 2 years too early on Jalen Smith? I know I was saying Jalen Smith was going to be really good for the Pacers. That must have been
during that like 7-game stretch after they traded him. He hit his threes. Everyone's like, wow.
Yeah, I knew he had it in him.
New normal.